they put me down. They asked me to do squat for other countless hours. And once that I felt shuffle, they bit me. Being beaten, facing uncertain future. I don't even know whether that I would die at that place.
Can you explain why did you go to China in August of 2019?
Well, that time I need to join a business conference. That time in Shenzhen, I understand that it must be a bit tricky because that exactly the time what happens, the protest happens in Hong Kong, and it is a bit dangerous to me. Then I've been stopped and I put back to the custody. They gave me no reason. Then they said, oh, it's because it's too late now. I need to deliver you back to Shenzhen because we have something to ask you or something. And I felt a bit worried what happened, but my instincts and my intuition told me that it's about politics, of course. So I understand it's not simple. And they keep asking me to access my phone. So that's why they deliver me back to Shenzhen and they hand me over to a bunch of plainclothes officers. They showed no badges and they treat me very, very, very rudely. They say, shut up. Don't ask the reason. You will know. Then they put me into the custody, put me into the cell, and they put me on the tiger chair. Tiger chair is a chair, but they could buckle me up. I can't move. Then I've been handcuffed and attached to the chair, and my legs would be also shackled and attached to the chair, so I can't move. And they asked 3 types of questions mainly. What do you think about Hong Kong? And then they start to narrow down to get more specific answers. And they ask why you want to attend the protest and what job you're doing and what's role of the UK behind the protest and who you know enjoy the protest. There's something like that and surrounding. And I feel very intimidating because I understand that even one message on my WhatsApp, it could be an evidence for them to do political charges. When I'm put into the detention center, that is civilian police, nothing to do with the state security. So the state security police, they need to get into the detention center, ask me out every time for interrogation because that is about so-called secret. So when I've been asked out for interrogation, I've been blindfolded, I've been hooded, I've been shackled, I've been handcuffed, and drove me on the unknown car, drove me into the unknown place. And I felt that it's very, very dead silent. And I heard the sounds of moving furniture. And I understand that is some tool for torture because I understand that the whole process is abnormal and unusual. And suddenly they put me into a very, very uncomfortable position. They hung me up for countless hours that I can't remember. And they also sometimes I felt shuffle because that is too painful. That's without any evidence because they hung me up. The pains, it cannot be visible. And they put me down. They asked me to do squat for other countless hours. And once that I felt shuffle, they bit me using a non-weapon because I can't see anything. I'm still being hooded. It's very, very hard to breathe because that hood is not for you to breathe actually. So I sweat a lot, hard to breathe, being beaten, facing uncertain future. Then they said, every time if you want to speak, you need to say, report my master in Mandarin. I wanted to let you know who is your master. Not Britain, not in English, in Mandarin, your motherland, China. And it's so inhumane because I felt I'm being dehumanized. And that time, I've been bitten, and sometimes too ill. I felt too ill. They asked me to stand still. I can't move anything. I can't move at all. And they try to deprive my sleep for other countless hours. And every time when I've been put back to the detention center, lots of bruise on my legs. I can't even move. And I put into the detention center, and afterwards then I put into the personal cell. I've been put into the solitary confinement because the state security police, they don't want to let me to tell what situation I am to other inmates. And I felt loneliness. So I tried to kill time. That I thanked myself and I prayed myself. And that's kind of things could maintain my mentality. And that's the only way I could be rational. Otherwise, and I even thought that I might commit suicide. They need to get more information to charge me politically. So they claim, well, Simon, I understand that sometime you went for the trip in Shenzhen, you went to massage Bala. Tell me whether that you solicit prostitutes. And I understand it hints because if I don't confess that, I would be politically charged immediately. And what I will be treated would be criminal detention. They tried to persuade me to confess a lighter charge. So I had no choice. I said, yes, I confess. And that's what becoming now probation, and the state media said I solicited prostitutes. And this kind of things becoming the social stigma upon me for the rest of my life, even after I've been let out. And that has 3 times of confession videotape. The one is I betrayed my motherland. That is for the preparedness that they charge me politically in the future. So now that's why I've been put on the wanted list by the National Security Police in Hong Kong. The second one, that I admit, I confess, I solicited prostitute. And the third types of confession videotapes is they treat me very well. They ask me and have to say there's no torture. That they protect my legal rights to let me access my lawyers and family. But I rejected.
How long have Chinese authorities detained you for?
They detained me for 15 days. And I was very lucky because I thought I would be imprisoned for decades.
Out of those 15 days, which moment do you think was the worst?
Most worst. Of course, that is when the moment that I've been tortured, especially the first day. Because after a few days that they keep torturing me, I little bit get used to it. But the first day is still very, very shocked that they could do that on me.
So why do you think the Chinese authorities let you go?
That time, my family members and my girlfriend report my missing in Hong Kong. So that time, it becomes a global news headline. And I think that is one of the reasons that it could help me. Because when I look back, when the week that they start to stop the torture is exactly when the news and the media report my missing case globally. They felt pressure. I think that time, I tried my best to be cooperative. why I need to rescue my life. I don't want to betray my friends, my protesters that I know. And I try best to deny the charges they claim that I work for the UK government, to stigmatize the UK government, to prove the UK government is behind the scenes for the protest. That is what the Beijing want to do, their own propaganda. They said that as a foreign power and manipulation, they could trigger the nationalism, blind nationalism of the people to stick with the regime, stick with the government. That's what they wanted me to play, that role. But I deny. That almost immediately when I finished the report to the British consulate, what happened to them, what happened to me as well, then I left. And I didn't even tell to my family members to say I never ever could come back. No. It just pretend as usual. I just try to spend the last few days with my family members. I understand that maybe a last few days for the rest of my life to be with them, but I can't speak it out because they're too old to take that. They're too old to understand the complexity of the matter. I have a last dinner with them, and suddenly I took the flight to Taiwan. And I say goodbye. And that's it. And I cut ties with my family. I felt that's about the time I need to talk with the BBC. That is about the time that I publicly broke the promise with the state security police in mainland China to say, look, I speak out. I spoke out. Then next date, my confession videotapes have been broadcasted by the state media from Beijing in the UK, around the world. So for now, I'm an activist, full-time activist, because I'm very, very hard to go back to normality. And that's why now I set up an NGO. I set up a non-profit organization. I try to solidify Hong Kongers in the UK, name Hong Kongers in Britain. On August 2020, I have been reportedly on the wanted list by the Hong Kong National Security Police. So I understand that they keep hunting me down. And even it's not safe, even in the UK, I think that is not one of. Because they claim the state security law from Hong Kong could operate globally, regardless what kind of nationalities you're holding. So that is almost always the risk to me. From the very beginning, why they tried to detain me, and until now becoming a frontline advocate for democracy, put on the wanted list. Because what? My advocacy. Because just simply because I speak out the truth.
And they arrest me in front of my 5-year-old child. My heart is just beat. And I know that is if I arrested and sent back to North Korea, I just execute or